Update, my mom thinks a court will give her my house. I finally have an update for you guys, so all aboard the Disappointment Express. To back up, after the divorce comment they are not, in fact, getting a divorce. They went and celebrated their anniversary at a casino. I did not speak to them for a week. This past weekend I tried to speak to my father and get an apology, hoping he would be in a better frame of mind. He wasn't. He doubled down with the BS, saying they didn't realize all the stuff I put in the lease, that my house was uninhabitable when they moved in. It wasn't, that they never would have put work into the house if they were just renters, etc. I asked them to specify and they said stuff about the garage screen door, the shed roof. My husband replaced 2/3 of it with my dad's help, Dad did the other 1/3, and by God, the hose. The hose leaked. That in no way affects the livability of the house, but in the words of my lawyer, and you agreed to live there in its original condition buddy, so that's on you, just like not reading the lease. My dad went on to just say all these things they were doing for me and not acknowledging a damn thing I was doing for them. At that point I said some not nice things, including the alcohol-induced dementia everyone mentioned. They wanted to know if they were still gonna be able to take my son to the fair, not a fat chance in hell. I told him I didn't want either one of them around me or my family until they stopped being delusional and to decide to pay the increase or GTFO. I then cried when I got off the phone and my husband was upset with all of this. Cut to today. My mother called me asking what needed to be done to resolve this. BC not being able to see my son was upsetting to them. I told them they needed to apologize for what they called me and that they were out of line. Well, you guys, they were scammed. My parents were fucking scammed. That's what this was all about. In my area homeowners get daily calls/texts and letters from people wanting to buy their house. It's not new in this market. I have even told them these letters are trash. Well, my parents were getting calls from people saying they were going to be renting the house. They acted like they were representing me. Someone also showed up to their house and was being very pushy about trying to see my mom in the house. This all happened before I mentioned the rent increase. So when my mom heard rent increase she thought these phone calls and this person was real. Like, I was going to raise the rent to something they couldn't afford and force them out. This was before I told them it was $3, but even after they thought I was throwing them out. I asked them why they didn't ask me and they said they were scared and had no place to go. I explained to them that's not even how it works. I can't rent a place with tenants, there's a whole legal process and they should know this. They apologized for how they acted, everything they said and were embarrassed. They were even more embarrassed that they believed this person and are officially old people that fell for a scammer. BC they thought they were smarter than that. They hadn't given them money or information yet. I told them they were probably setting them up for it. Scammers will pretend to be renting a house and take people's first/last/security and when the new tenants show up the house is already occupied and they're screwed out of the money or pretend they need money to let them keep living in the house. I have no idea why they believe/fell for this person or why they never asked me in the first place since I don't and wouldn't hire a representative for my one house. Their cameras were off when they came but they're going to file a police report anyway. I told them to call the cops next time to file for harassment/trespassing if these people call or show up again. I got my apology from both parents. I explained everything in the lease and why it was legally written that way. I explained to them I can't throw them out on the street on a whim and as long as they pay the minimum bills to live there, taxes/insurance, I was going to keep my end of the deal. So I guess that's my update. They're not getting evicted for now, but I might have to start monitoring them more closely to see if they fall for other dumb shit. PSA, a lot of us seem to have boomer parents, so I wanted to make you all aware of something. My parents have Medicaid, edit, which in the great ol' US of A means that if they have a large medical expense, they ain't paying for shit until all their personal assets are utilized. This means draining bank accounts, taking property, and even requesting back gifts from up to 5 years ago. So for example, your mom falls and breaks a hip and winds up in a rehab, your mom gave you $20K for a new roof a few years ago, the government will demand that money before they pay for the rehab. They can take their savings and demand property in their name sold to pay for it. They legally cannot touch their car, but that's it. I know this from personal experience with a grandparent and all of you should too to help protect your parents.